Newbee going into the Earth Spirit, something we're seeing prioritized a lot more because he's able to move around the map a lot and really disrupt some of these lanes.
Yeah, Earth Spirit, despite getting nerf after nerf, is just one of those heroes. You can knock this guy, you can kick him while he's down. He'll keep getting back up and keep making his way into competitive Dota. And I'm glad for it. He's a very fun hero to watch, even with the reworks to his spells, the different changes. It's just always fun and exciting to watch a good Earth Spirit player in action.
Yeah, one of the most known Earth Spirit players, at least in China, is definitely Bobica. He's a 4 position that roams all over the place, and we've been seeing a lot of guys kind of try to replicate the way he plays, the aggression he shows, and I feel like he's almost made like
10 seconds
his own style very prevalent in 4 positions in the scene, Bobica. And we see here it's going to be Wexy who's going to try and replicate that. It's not picked yet, but he's usually their Earth Spirit player. And then Centaur picked up here for RNG. Again, another offlaner that we're not seeing as much recently. You know, sometimes we'll see like Tide, who's been a lot more prevalent in the offlane, who's banned out a little bit ago. So is there something about Centaur that's been holding him off the picking block recently, or is it just that better offlaners have kind of shown themselves with the patch?
I think we're seeing some other new offlaners make their appearance, and he also got some small nerfs, right, a few patches ago maybe, because he was getting played a lot. Yeah, so the Retaliate no longer gains charges while it's active. That was a pretty big nerf going back to 7.21. I think Centaur was getting played a lot before that and was just dominating the offlane because he gets all this bonus damage. He just starts trading right clicks with you while building up more Retaliate. So it was a small little change, but it hurts his laning stage a lot. And I think teams are starting to draft heroes like Ursa, who can crush a Centaur. He's happy to trade hits, even when Centaur gets all that bonus damage. So the other big thing I think we're seeing is a lot more tri-lanes, and Centaur does not like dealing with tri-lanes. He doesn't do well in those scenarios.
Yeah, and then Ursa picked up for Newbee. Ursa has been picked up a lot, and one of the things I'm noticing is just how fast he is so early, and how much that really helps him being able to just destroy lanes. He gets phase boots early enough, and he's at such a high movement speed, it's so hard to get away from him. So you're looking at heroes like Earth Spirit and Warlock who can really help enable the Ursa, you know, when he's able to get right up in your face. Remaining. And then, you know, come the mid-game, late game, where Night Stalker is going to be using that Void and trying to work with the rest of his team, the Earth Spirit as well. And this Ursa, I think, has definitely an opportunity to do quite a bit.
Yeah. It's nice because he's such a good counter to Centaur, Phoenix killing the egg. Troll versus Ursa kind of goes a bit both ways. Getting up close to Troll can sometimes backfire, but Ursa has the Enrage to get rid of the mischance from the whirling axis. So if you're in that man fight against a Troll, he gets you the mischance, you enrage it off, and you can generally win that right-click battle, especially now that he roots you rather than bashes. So I think Ursa has a much better matchup against the Troll now than you used to. Against Shaman, if you blink on a Shaman with a basher, you're going to likely get a bash and kill a Shaman before he can respond. Now we see the mid laners, SCCC Lina. Here he's very comfortable with, has played a lot of, and we'll see what RNG get in response. The Puck ban, the Death Prophet ban. TA's kind of been always that go-to Lina counter, but I don't really feel like TA rounds out their lineup that well. I think they're more likely to, I don't know, get something like an Ember Spirit type hero, something a bit more focused on some spell damage, a bit more mobile, kind of more of a tempo controller rather than like another right-clicking carry like a TA.
Yeah, and RNG, they've got a good amount of lockdown right now. The Lina comes in for Newbee. To me, their draft, I'd say, except for the Ursa and maybe the Night Stalker, feels like I'm not too sure, because if you've got Troll who can get on top of you, Warlock, Earth Spirit, and possibly the Lina are all going to be in a lot of trouble. I don't know if I like the Lina. I don't know if the Lina is not just going to be paper thin against this lineup right now.
Yeah, I mean, Lina is a squishy hero. Centaur is, to me, Lina's biggest weakness is people who can get on top of her, because she doesn't have a good escape. She's very squishy. You're always relying on seeing on the edges of a fight. It's kind of like a sniper that uses spells and has like more. I mean, you right click as well as Lina, but it's kind of sniper-esque in that way, where you just don't want heroes on you. And Centaur is very good for that. They get DK. There's your tempo controller. I like this hero a lot. Nice and tanky. You get a couple bracers. So the Lina can't combo you with the extra health and magic resistance. Laning state looks fine. And Setsu's been fantastic. He's been like the standout player on this RNG team to me. He's been owning in all the games I've seen.
Yeah, Setsu's been really redeeming himself earlier in the year. I think he was trying to still find what he's been able to do and where he kind of fits and what heroes he fits with. And with this lineup of RNG, he's been growing, and it's definitely been showing. And this Dragon Knight pick, now you've got two pretty tanky heroes in the Dragon Knight as well as the Centaur. And I worry about how Newbee are going to be able to get through that tankiness. Like, at some point, is Laguna Blade really going to be enough? Do they have the control to take care of two tanky heroes? And then if what we've been seeing a lot is kind of letting the troll farm a long time while they wait for him to farm. But maybe with these heroes, especially Dragon Knight and Centaur, and the lockdown that those four other heroes provide, they can be active on the map while they wait for Monet to just farm.
Yeah, they're super beefy. And that's where Newbee are going to be looking more at their team fight, because at some point, Laguna Blade is not enough to get these kills. Ursa can do some good damage, but it takes some time over the course of a fight to build up. You're going to need like several overpowers. But a Warlock Fatal Bonds, Earth Spirit Magnetized, the damage is there. You're just requiring and needing everybody to be contributing. This isn't one of those games where it's like a 4 protect 1 and one guy on the Newbee side is going to be carrying the game, whether that's Mugi or SCCC. It's a game where everybody needs to chip in. You're going to have to see Earth Spirit doing 10, 15, 20k hero damage this game. Warlock's going to have to do a lot of damage in these fights, whereas RNG, it is much more of a 4 protect 1. Centaur, DK, frontline, create space, get this Troll Warlord, super farm, get him 3-4 big items, take Roshan, control the game. So it's two very different play styles from the two teams.
Yeah, and I've seen RNG be successful with this. One of the things I'm noticing in their, past play in this tournament is making, taking advantage of others' mistakes. We saw it against Vici, where they were able to take advantage of their mistakes. If you make a mistake against this game, against this team, they're going to make you pay in full. They really do like to get aggressive and work off something, maybe bad positioning that's coming out. They find those mistakes that you're making, those little mistakes that might not be seen by others' teams. They spot them, and they will exploit them. And I think Newbee's got to be very careful.
As it is right now, Mugi sitting mid on the Ursa. It's not going to be a mid Ursa as much as that is a hero that can beat a DK mid. He's just waiting to scout out the lanes so he can make sure he doesn't get that unfavorable laning matchup. He doesn't want to play against this tri-lane, so he lets his team get down some incredibly deep wards. Newbee warding on the other side of the map in the enemy jungle. They want to know what these lanes are so they can make sure Ursa doesn't have to play, run across the map lane swaps. At the same time, RNG, they want to be tri-laning this Ursa. They don't want to give Ursa this matchup against Centaur. Because Centaur himself, he's sitting mid. He's ready to go to whichever lane Ursa's not in. So both teams are going to be doing a lot of lane swapping here.
Yeah, all three of their cores for a moment were mid. As,
Earth Spirit's look at what Earth Spirit's doing. He's sitting here, and he's not trying to snipe a Curry. He's literally just trying to scout what the lanes are, so he can tell his Ursa if he needs to swap these lanes. That's why he is positioned how he is. And yeah, he's going to scout. A lot of heroes coming his way.
I feel like we never used to see this, intense scouting. Like, it started to become more of a thing, and more it's become, the game-breaking move. If you don't know these lanes and you're spending all this time playing musical lanes, I mean, that puts you so far behind. And we see how teams are willing to
at the same time, if you've got the bad lane matchups, you can just lose the game off of that. And that's what this is one of those games where the lane matchups matter so much, so both teams are trying to make sure they get them.
So for the moment, they've got Monet and Ladder up top against Mugi as well as Faith.
Yeah. I mean, RNG gets the lanes they wanted. They kind of win this lane swap battle. Mugi really wanted to be up against the Centaur, but at some point you just have to commit to a lane. And RNG, they won the game of chicken. It's like, who's going to give up playing in the jungle first? And at some point, RNG didn't mind Shaman sitting bottom. Shaman was playing a 1v0 lane at the start until Centaur got there. Shaman got like a wave or two of CS and farm. You can see the 2 denies there as well as the last game. But now they're keeping bottom for kill.
Yeah, they've gone over bottom. They sent Mugi here. They should be able to get this kill. One more shot will do it. And Mugi actually, by moving over to the bottom, looking for the better matchup. We see a lot of that. When the musical lanes start to get going, it turns into that.
Yeah, I was interested to see if Centaur TP'd top. I thought he may dodge this lane, but he's actually going to go right back down bottom because he could have TP'd top. Versus TP's on cooldown. Normally what happens when you win that, lane swap battle at the start, if your opponent's TP to swap lanes, you just do the same because their TPs are on cooldown, yours are not. But it looks like Centaur is just going to tough it out a bit down this bottom lane. not going to be an easy lane for him against Ursa plus Earth Spirit.
So they've got Lanham here with Flyby. That's going to leave a dual lane over top against Alwyn as well as Faith. Faith has stayed stationary in this lane, or only stayed faithful at the top lane. And Monet, you know, at what point are they going to try and maybe leave Monet alone and have these 4 heroes move around for the side of RNG?
If the Warlock's up here, you kind of need to match the support there, but Troll can definitely 1v1 the Night Stalker. I think we've seen that matchup earlier. EG ran Arteezy on a Troll against a Night Stalker 1v1. I think Monet hitting like level 4 or 5, he can easily play a 1v1, even when it's nighttime. As long as he's not being ganked, Troll is just will be able to trade against Night Stalker very effectively.
Yeah, for right now, he's 14-4 to the Night Stalker 6-4. Of course, Alwyn started over bottom. But for those moments that you don't have a core in this lane, that did open it up for a couple of last hits, and 2 out of the 3 top CSers right now are part of RNG.
Yeah, Newbee's doing a good job taking advantage of the Radiant side kind of advantage. They're using that big camp pull at the bottom lane, something the Dire can't do. And Warlock, he kept body blocking the pull camp of the Dire. So RNG have not had a pull camp to work with up top. So Newbee just, you know, fully understanding how to play this Radiant scheme.
Under tower, Alwyn getting pushed in by Monet and Afu. That'll send Wexy over towards top, taking a lot of damage himself. They got the first hit root onto Alwyn, who now needs to be careful with creeps under the tower. But you've got rolling boulders, so Monet, the longer he stays, the more he's kind of in trouble. But Afu sitting here, maybe looking for somebody to come a little bit too far out, throw a shack on an Ether Shock their way, and possibly get a kill here for RNG. But of course, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, good TP rotation, knowing that dive could come with that big creep wave, and Earth Spirit's ready to respond. I like what RNG do at 4 minutes. They camp both runes, making sure Lina, who goes for this early bottle, doesn't get it. If you rush a bottle on a mid laner, rather than getting like a double null, it can really hurt your lane if you don't get those runes. It suddenly feels like you just don't have the sustain you were hoping for. But SCCC, I think he may make like a rotation for the 5-minute bounty runes, because that's a great way to secure your team an extra bounty rune and also refill your bottle. So I'd be expecting him to make a move, and it does look like SCCC is moving down bottom to try and fight this 3v2 lane and get some bounty runes.
He's starting to come over bottom. He's popped a Clarity. He's not level 6 yet, so he won't have that Laguna Blade, just about a half level off of it. But yeah, like you said, he's coming to fill up that bottle and try and secure 2 bounty runes here in the bottom lane.
Centaur mistimes to stun, so Warlock actually going to get that one. And Lina wants Flyby.
Yeah, he might be in trouble. He comes over with the stun. You've got Mugi right next to him. They get an easy kill. So Flyby misses the stun, then comes over to the Lina, which he doesn't know is there. And SCCC gets a kill. So not only filling his bottle, but getting a kill. I mean, that's the best he could ask for.
Yeah. I think they didn't know exactly where Lina was, but they had a very good idea Lina was rotating bottom. And Lina also getting some rotations towards mid, but DK way too much help to get this kill. SCCC doesn't have the mana. Even if he has level 6 Laguna, this DK is still very tanky and hard to kill.
Alwyn coming over on Monet, who's just trying to get this pull and take this neutral camp, but disrupting it as much as he can. And then meanwhile,
it's a good thing RNG
bottom Faith, yeah, he might be in a little bit of trouble. So over top too, they're gonna continue to commit to Monet. Alwyn going in with Wexy. They'll bring over Afu, throw the Ether Shock out. Under the tower he'll get, but now they look over at Afu for a moment. They've got the silence, then Faith finally dying over bottom. So they get themselves a kill for RNG onto this Warlock, but at the same time, you know, they rotated one to try and get Monet, and Afu came over to save him.
SCCC needs to be careful. Gets the stun into the tower mid. Flyby taking a lot of tower damage. He may die to the Fatal Bonds if he's not careful. And yeah, Dragon Slave finishes him off. Nicely played by SCCC. Great LSA under the tower. Really nicely done.
Yeah, so they get that kill, and that's off the aggression of RNG. And they're Newbee. I was talking about how RNG are the ones who capitalize on the mistakes of others, and Newbee right there. You come under the tower, they land the stun, they get the kill. I mean, that's an aggressive rotation from RNG that they pay for.
Mugi down bottom underneath the tower should be fine. Double damage on Phoenix. That's one thing that has limited what SCCC can do.
Rolling boulder
He's having
top.
a good time.
Got the boulder smash onto the Fatal Bonds as well, and this is at least going to be Afu. He ends up dying to Wexy. Getting away once again will be Monet. A little bit of that save the president. going on as they want to get this carry out of the harm's way.
Yep. Protected your boy Troll Warlord. But yeah, SCCC's having a good time, but not getting any of these runes is limiting what he can do on the map for sure. At the bottom, Mugi getting fairly low here. This is a level 2 dive. He doesn't actually hit the dive. If he hits that, actually it's not a kill. He has enrage, so he can enrage off that damage over time and live through it. But he's going to be forced back to Shrine.
Again, over mid, Wexy coming through. We'll see if they can find a kill mid, possibly, but it could just be the long walk all the way over bottom to pick off possibly the Phoenix. Or Flyby again. I mean, Flyby's been caught out 3 times already.
What's the plan here? 8-minute mark coming up. See if SCCC can finally get himself a rune. He doesn't really need it right now. He's full mana, full health. It's much more once you're like, when you get down to half mana, you want to grab those runes. RNG are looking to rotate towards mid now. Yeah, they've got Afu and Lanham coming over, but Setsu in a little bit of trouble with Mugi making the way up towards mid. They get the kill immediately, and coming around the back is going to be Alwyn. So they look at Afu, they've got the silence, they continue to chase. They've got all 5 heroes here for the side of Newbee, and that's going to be a second. They still look towards the jungle with the rolling boulder, looking for Lanham, as Wexy makes an aggressive rolling boulder in and also hits the boulder smash to slow up Lanham with Alwyn in tow. And that's going to be a 3rd kill here for Newbee, stemming from an aggressive move over mid. And they're not done. They want to look towards Monet, who needs to get back behind this tower. Some classic Newbee Dota. I mean, you go back to like their TI runner-up squad. The way Newbee played, they would 5-man a lot. These guys are like the kings of 5-man Dota. They love to pick these heavy teamfight lineups, group up, they counterplay opponents. If you go for a gank underneath the tower, they'll TP in the entire team. So Newbee, happy to bring in all 5, collapse in the mid lane. They don't turn it into a tier 1 tower though, so it's not like a huge win for them. It's 7-1 on kills, which feels like it's very Newbee favored, but the gold difference is pretty small.
Getting stunned up here under the tower, nowhere to go. Monet's here as well. They'll get themselves another kill, and now Monet's actually going to be in trouble with the Dragon Slave hitting Alwyn's down bottom. The rolling boulder hits. They've got themselves another stun coming in from SCCC, and he's silenced up with Alwyn right here and ready to go to get that kill and make it 9-1.
Yeah, they're just making all the right moves, getting all these kills. 2k gold lead, kind of as I was saying, it's not like the biggest of gold leads, considering the kill score. Often at 10 minutes in, if you're crushing it, you can see these like 4 or 5k gold leads, but because of the farm and the fact RNG were CSing and laning well, they're kind of keeping things a little bit close. But you can't just keep giving up these kills. At some point, Newbee, you know, as the game goes on, these heroes get higher level, they're going to turn these kills into towers because these respawn timers get longer and longer. There's a much bigger window to take advantage of these kills, and that's what we're going to start to see.
Shackle on Mugi, who's just running into him again with phase moves. He's just so fast, and yeah, right into the face of Afu. He's moving at 457 movement speed. I mean, how do you get away with that if you're just a Shadow Shaman?
You don't. Simply put, you just don't. You're dead. You shackle him and you hope for the best, and then you generally just say goodbye and wait for your respawn. So he's level 6, so he has that Tome of Knowledge on the Shaman. Meanwhile, Faith level 5 and a bit on his Warlock. It looks like Earth Spirit got to use the Tome of Knowledge. It gets a silence on the Lanham's Phoenix. That's a kill. Easy kill mid.
There's a rolling boulder that came in, and then just SCCC with Wexy moving forward. The Phoenix was never able to get into a position where he would be able to escape. They land the stun. They've got the silence. Easy kill again for Newbee, and they might be able to transition this into a lot of damage on the tier 1, if not the entire tower, if the rotations are weak from RNG.
RNG is going to keep defending these towers. I think they know, you know, like these kills are not a good look, but if they can keep defending their towers and slowing down the Newbee snowball, it's going to make a big difference. They're looking to just trade farm elsewhere on the map. Troll does need to be careful though. There's a lot of rotations coming in, and Night Stalker has his ultimate. Oh, this looks so bad for Monet.
Yeah, there's the rolling boulder in once again. They've got the silence on, continuing to move on forward as they drop the Serpent Wards. They've got Wexy in a bad spot. And there is the Chaotic Offering coming out from Faith. They've got themselves the kill on Wexy. They'll look for more. They've got the Shackle. Owen in a little bit of trouble as Monet starts to hit away. They've got the Supernova used by Faith. He is able to pop that. They get both a kill on the Earth Spirit as well as the Night Stalker. But at the same time, Newbee looking to wrap around.
They did that with just 3 heroes, but the fact they have the Centaur Stampede made such a big difference, and Afu, immediate War Trap on the Air Spirit. It stopped him getting off all his spells, though Lanham still may go down there.
He's got the Icarus dive, he's able to escape the hands of Mugi.
Yeah, Mugi's probably just going to fall back to the farm. He's got his Midas up, so Newbee, you know, getting some late game assurances here, but Yeah, Newbee, they had like a 3v3 down bottom, but the center stampede and just the shaman positioning was on point. He's the difference maker there. Those serpent wards right on top of Earth Spirit prevent him from getting a good magnetize off. Even the boulder smash and the silence weren't really used in very effective ways. So they threw all these spells, all this damage onto a troll who survives through it, and then turns around to get those kills.
So they'll have the Stampede up in 40 seconds once again. That might be another moment where RNG will look to play aggressive. It's going to be Troll going into the Battle Fury this time around for Monet. Sometimes we saw it once or twice during the group stage where the Troll, at least from what I saw, had gone a Midas instead of the Battle Fury.
Yeah, it's just, if you're not going to get both, but if you want to go for like an SMY build, you could get like Midas into like SMY or Yasha BKB, but I think Troll is not really a Midas hero as much as others.
They've been looking over top for all-in. Again, Flyby missing the stun, but they've got the Hex from Afu to follow it up as well as the Shackle, so, you know, if he misses his stun, it's not the worst thing in the world because they have the follow-up lockdown, and that's lucky for him because from what we've been seeing, Flyby's whiffed a couple of these.
Yeah, not having his best start to this game. He's farming decently well, has the hood and more than halfway to a Blink Dagger, so out farming the Night Stalker, who's the 3 position on the other side, which is good news for RNG. What's not is if he keeps missing these stuns. He's 1 and 4 so far, but they're going to get some towers now as well. So it's actually RNG taking more towers than what we're seeing from Newbee, although Wakesea on the Earthspirit is trying to pressure the mid-tier 1. Triple C has a Yule Scepter though. He wants to maybe find a catch here, but it is known to RNG that this is up now.
Trying to farm some of these Serpent Wards. Should be nice as DK, he's going for the Blink eventually. So he'll have his Blink as well as the stun. Shadow Shaman going for an Aether Lens, so will have a little bit more of a cast range on his Shackle, but also as well, you've got Centaur who will be also going for a Blink. So, you know, a lot of Blink initiation, a lot of long range initiation coming in for RNG. So earlier in this game where Newbee are kind of dominating, but I think it's falling back towards RNG having an opportunity to do something. They've got the Hex that's going to come through onto the Earth, so the Rolling Boulder comes out from Wexy, but now Flyby making an appearance. As the Yules comes in from SCCC, they're unable to follow up that Shackle onto Wexy. The Icarus dive comes in. They've got the stun on 2 of these heroes with the Supernova burning away. They'll get themselves one. Setsu's made his way over mid. The Supernova pops. It's another play from Newbee that kind of goes wrong.
Yeah, SCCC taking a page from Flyby's book, mistiming his stun out of the Yule Scepter. Doesn't hit the LSA. Wouldn't have changed the outcome there. Even if he hits that, the Centaur is too tanky to bring down with the hood. So, you know, it doesn't look pretty, but ultimately it doesn't change the outcome of what went down there. And I think Newbee don't mind. They got the tier 1 mid tower. They actually secured the last hit on it as well. They do want to go try and take the initiative and start some fights. Problem is
that's right under a ward.
Smoked under a ward, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And RNG are ready for this.
They're going to go right into Roche, though. They actually, one of the things that I noticed was Warlock going into a Midas. And it's not that slow of a Midas for a position 5 hero.
That's not too bad at all. Yeah, Faith is very, very fun this game. Still, sneaky Roshan going the way of Newbee as well. Nice little play there. I think RNG were maybe thinking that smoke was to take a team fight. RNG do get a tier 2 tower bottom though, so you know, they're just trading. They're playing for the late game more on the RNG side. They want to avoid these 5v5 team fights, so if they're trading towers for Roshan and just getting good farm on their heroes, taking advantage of the DK Midas, they're going to feel like okay about how this game's going. But it's still very even right now, and I'd say even, no, momentum, Newbee's in a better position right now.
Feels like this Aegis might stop RNG from fighting, but they're still looking for the Battle Fury on Troll. They want him to farm up a little bit more. They've got the Blink Dagger on Centaur, and actually Dragonite not going for the Blink Dagger, going straight to the BKB. So even with this Aegis on Newbee, I think RNG are more inclined to farm, but it comes down to maybe seeing Newbee look to fight.
Double damage.
They're going to try to find a pick up top. Not the big team fight they were maybe hoping for, but it's still a pick off.
They get themselves Afu, and SCCC had double damage. It's the Laguna Blade used, not a long cooldown, but again, Lina also working towards that BKB, so You've got the 3 Midases on Newbee. They're looking towards BKBs. They are setting themselves up to be in a pretty decent position. When RNG are looking to fight the blink forward, looking for Flyby. The Centaur is going to have to use the Stampede to get out. And Newbee aren't able to find another one, but they do get the Shadow Shaman, and then they do pull out the Stampede.
Yeah, they want to get some map control here, but Dire Vision is really good. They're protecting themselves from this aggression with defensive ward in their jungle and some offensive wards, which, I know, as offensive as these wards on the bottom side of the map are, importantly, they can, you know, protect the troll who's farming down there. He's going to be farming on this bottom side of the map, so giving him some vision in that area does give these wards a defensive purpose as well. So Newbee really want to try and take some fights here with the Aegis. They're not like required to. They've got triple Midas going, so they're scaling fine. They're going to out-farm RNG with these triple Midas and the map control they've got. And we'll see what the DK can do. He actually didn't go for the blink. He's got a BKB queued up now. Setsu changing his approach.
Yeah, but the blink comes out from Flyby. They'll find the stone with the nice ulti from Faith come out, but they're able to lock down this Earth Spirit. The Supernova comes in deep. Faith burning a little bit. They were pinging him out like they wanted to continue forward. They only get themselves one, and they use Supernova, but the Chaotic Offering coming out from Faith.
I think Faith was like, okay, I'm going to get a 4-man Rock plus Fatal Bonds, but there's no follow-up. If Lina or Ursa's there, it's a very different fight, but that was just 2 supports. It was like a 2v4 supports versus the entire RNG team. No way was that going to end well for them there, and in hindsight, very much a scenario where Faith should have just held on to the Chaotic Offering, because now he doesn't have it for 2 minutes. And guess what's gone in 2 minutes? This Aegis. So they're not going to really get a chance to get a lot of value out of this Aegis. Not the end of the world for Newbee. As much as RNG, I'd say scale a bit better into the late game. Newbee with triple Midas, they're easily keeping up. And the fact they're ahead on gold is at least a good sign that they can go late game here.
Up 2,000 net worth, but Setsu nearby. If SCC can get the Yules out, they might be able to start on that, and that's exactly what he's going to do, as Mugi bringing up the rear. Serpent Wards are placed down with the Eagle side coming out, but they don't have the Supernova. Once again, Flyby lands the Sun onto the Ursa. They look over at the Earth Spirit, who's made his way in a little bit too deep. The Serpent Wards don't focus him, so he's able to walk away, but Setsu, oh, he actually falls. One more shot coming through. Afu's going to die. They'll take the Aegis. 4 heroes here for RNG, and again, they don't have that Chaotic Offering on such a long cooldown. The blink away from Mugi, and he is able to escape while he's on the radar of a bunch of these RNG heroes.
No. That's where you wish you have the Rock. At the same time, RNG don't have Supernova. If RNG have Supernova there, that fight can go very favorably for them as well. So both teams are somewhat reliant on these 5 positions with these crazy important ultimates. The Supernova is causing a lot of problems in these few team fights that we've seen. When RNG have come out on top, it's because, you know, Lanam gets the Supernova in a position where it can't be dealt with, and it forces Newbee to give up on a hero who's going to be left to die or to just run away. And then, similarly on the Newbee side, you've got this Rock that is just such a good team fight controller as well.
14-7, and it seems like RNG come out ahead on that one. They also burst the Aegis, but it looks like 3 BKBs are going to be coming out at around the same time here for Newbee.
That's, yeah, good news. I think they're going to hit this pretty scary timing. They won't have the Aegis, but they will, you know, be playing for that second Roshan timing, I believe. Not that their lineup pushes that well, so even if they get that second Rosh, you know, it's going to be one of those typical, like, Newbee, long games. They don't have good high ground push, but they have great 5-man, great Roshan control. They'll get map control. They'll take all these outer towers, but then it'll take them some time before they can break high ground. It's going to require them to win a big team fight.
They are smoked up, so RNG moving over towards the mid lane. They place this ward down. It doesn't actually catch a look at SCCC. Perfectly placed there within the trees, but now RNG continuing to focus on the tier 1 over mid. That's going to be an easy tower for them. We'll see if they continue to put the pressure on, if they want to position themselves so that they can take a fight against Newbee. Serpent Wards are committed for this, and there's the blink, but it's going to be in the immediate silence coming out from Owen, and now they're going to try and give this a chase. The Rolling Boulder is going to miss. Flyby continuing the run. There's the Hex and a 4-man Chaotic Offering coming in. The Icarus time, but the silence is out. I think that was a Geomagnetic Crypt that got the silence on Aladdin. He was unable to get the Supernova through, and now they get the kill on a Flyby. They work over at Monet, who's hitting away at Owen. Lanham's also fallen. That's going to be 3 dead. They'll lose Wexy. It's a 3 for 2 so far with SCCC having the double damage. Faith, Mugi bringing up the rear. They're looking to get the kill on a Setsu, who's popped his BKB as well as Monet. They'll chase. The Dragon Tail comes out onto the Ursa. This should be able to get them out of harm's way, and they keep them alive for now, but Monet has to run away from Mugi.
He can't chase. they don't have good catch on Newbee. Like they've got the Earth Spirit, the Night Stalker heroes that can go in to gank and start fights, but their ability to like chase, unless Lina gets a Blink Dagger or, I mean, has a Shadow Blade cube. I don't think you want to go Blink, but without an item like that, they can't catch these heroes. Troll Warlord, very fast and mobile there on the escape. There's Blink Daggers on RNG side, so once RNG disengage, and when they use this Centaur Stampede, you can't really clean up these kills that you'd like to get. It still was a decent fight for Newbee, but you can kind of see in the gold difference, they're not really walking away with a big advantage from these fights.
Now the gold difference is now even. RNG starting to take over in terms of experience. They're looking... They started this game, what, 10-1 in Newbee's favor? 4,000 net worth lead? And they've really cleaned it up since then.
It was getting a little bit out of hand with the kills, but they managed to just, you know, not get too flustered, just keep on farming, get these key items, and the Warlock ultimate is just, it's not looking that scary in these fights. That last fight, it dropped. It did set up a nice 4-man fatal bonds and stunned everyone, but they just burst it down. The DK in his dragon form, the troll.
Dragon tail, that comes out. Lina's in a little bit of trouble. The blink stun hits onto the Night Stalker as well. The BKB is going to be caught by Lina, but immediately taken out. So now they're trying to run. The Rolling Boulder comes through on a flyby. That's going to keep him nearby, as they'll be unable to follow it up onto the Night Stalker. But the Dragon Tail comes through after he's done rolling, and they will find a second to the Earth Spirit as well as the tier 2 tower mid.
They're going high ground. Yeah, they're just so scary in these team fights, and that right there, the problem we talked about with Lina in the draft, you're squishy. If somebody jumps and gets on top of you, what do? Yeah, you put a BKB, but DK stuns you before you can even pop it. You can go Newbee though, they delete Shaman.
Yeah, they've got Mugi using that BKB. They'll look at the Supernova. He's going to pop the egg. That's going to be 2 dead on the side of RNG. They'll look over at Setsu. He's got the Fatal Bonds on top of him. The Sun's going to land from SCCC. They'll get the kills. They acquired the buyback from Lina, but that's 3 kills for them as they look towards the exit of RNG, and they capitalize.
Yeah, very nice buyback. I think they recognized that they were overcommitted on the RNG side, particularly just because BKB was on cooldown. If DK doesn't have BKB, you can just go diving at him and kill him. Unfortunately for Newbee, Roshan wasn't up. It's going to be up in a minute 10 from now, a little bit longer on the longer side of Roche respawn. So they could turn that buyback and those 3 kills into a Roche. They'd be sitting in a pretty decent position. Instead, RNG is going to be back alive. They're going to have their BKBs. Troll just picking his up. They're going to have a halberd soon on the DK as well. They can contest this Roshan very effectively.
Still not up for another 45 seconds. DK up soon.
Regeneration.
He's looking to get a Heaven's Halberd too, and he's not too far off of it, so maybe the timings work out where RNG, they get that Heaven's Halberd, and they've got the BKB here on the Troll. It's definitely a lot that RNG's bringing to the table in this next Roche fight. It's not going to be like the first one where Newbee were able to waltz in and take it for free.
Yeah, they're getting multiple Halberds. Flyby has one queued up as well on the Centaur. This is an item that can just ruin Ursa. Very hard to play in this. You've kind of got to preemptively BKB to stop them using it, since you cannot dispel it.
Roshan 5. They've got SCCC as well as Mugi in the pit, but they've got the stun that's going to be immediately on Setsu with the Laguna Blade following up. The BKB is going to be popped by Setsu as well as Monet. Looking over at Mugi as well as SCCC. They've also popped their BKBs, as has the Night Stalker. So if this fight goes on a little bit long and nothing really happens out of it, they'll be able to get Roshan maybe the side of RNG, but they look over, the Serpent Wards are going to be dropped as well as the Chaotic Offering. Wafu's going to be the first one to fall. Supernova's in the back lines, but it's going to be Monet who drops second for the side of RNG. They get the stun on a couple of the heroes with the Supernova getting that pop-off. SCCC drops. Now they look over. Setsu hitting away at Wexy. That's going to find the kill. The Hex comes through. That's onto the Ursa. So he's unable to get the kill into the dark, to the Dragon Knight. He's now coming around the back. Will be all in onto the Shadow Shaman. Afu will be chomped up hard by this Night Stalker, but here comes Flyby as well as Lanham. They look over at Mugi. They'll get the kill. This Golem can't do anything. He was actually sitting AFK for quite some time. They'll take the gold and take advantage of that fight. That cost the buyback of the Shadow Shaman, but it didn't matter when you win it like that.
Phoenix does the most damage of the entire team. 4,000 plus hero damage in that team fight. They tried to commit to the Supernova. SCCC runs forward into the Supernova damage, the rest of the RNG lineup, the DK, just to try and kill the egg. No one else was hitting it until the very end. Wakesy on the Earth Spirit was trying to right-click it as well, but he throws away his life for the Supernova that he doesn't even kill. And that right there is where they lose the fight. SCCC just, if they just retreated and let the egg go off and re-engage afterwards, or just, you know, tried to peel away at the rest of the RNG team. Like, you know, go for those other kills without getting on top of the egg. It would have, the fight was going better for Newbee until that point. The fact that RNG are much more reliant on those BKBs playing into like the Lina and the Earth Spirit, even the Night Stalker's silence when it's nighttime. So I feel like the fight should have been better for Newbee considering the BKBs didn't secure the kills for RNG. But they just overcommit a little bit. Going for that supernova, it can be like the make or break of a team fight. If you kill the egg, you can just, the flat fight looks amazing. If you don't, as we just saw, it goes horribly wrong.
And from that point, they, you know, luckily for Newbee, RNG didn't get roached at that moment. But also, I'm looking at these BKBs. They're 7 seconds for both the Lina as well as the Ursa, 8 seconds for Night Stalker. I mean, the lower these BKBs get, I feel like the more and more RNG find themselves in a little bit of a safer spot in these fights.
Yeah, both teams are going to be fairly reliant on these BKBs. We'll see. I don't know. I want to say, like, Ursa's very good at dealing with them. On the Dire side, you have got Troll, but he's just not, I think, quite the scariest. DK with his level 3 ulti does have that slow, and he's just naturally tanky outside of his BKB.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Some good Dire vision being planted, so they may look to set up and find this top lane. SCCC
Yeah, there's the
does
blink
not have
in.
buyback.
Setsu, he's got the stun, the 4-step away. They're trying to get him out of this one, but he will be unable to do so as he's going to be the first one to fall. Mugi's going to pop his BKB. They get on top of Faith. The Sunray coming through. That's going to be Faith falling as well. 2 heroes dead, 2 heroes without buyback, and that should be right in a Roche for RNG.
Lina's only died like 3 times this game. Not like a huge amount, but all of those deaths have been so impactful. That last team fight was the dieback. That's where things looked really bad. The mid time where he got picked off was when RNG won a team fight. And just here, this is going to set up for Roche.
Oh, Blank hoofs on finding Alwyn early. They've also got the Hex. The Rolling Boulder comes in from Wexy, who will get the silence onto the Phoenix as well as the Shadow Shaman. Alwyn's popped the BKB. He's trying to get a kill here onto the Phoenix, possibly, but they lose the Earth Spirit, and now the Night Stalker will fall as well. They get themselves a kill onto the Shadow Shaman, so Afu does, in fact, drop, but the Aegis is picked up here by Monet.
It's like an attempted 2v5 from the supporting cast. Well, the Night Stalker as well. Not really a high percentage play, but also feeling like, you know, best case scenario, we still an Aegis. Worst case, you know, we lose a support and offlaner. So it's not like they give up massive kills, but it is still RNG increasing their lead. They're going to go onto this tier 2 tower now with Aegis, and she's in their hands. They're going to be feeling pretty good about this game. So, what happened to the Chiefs? Am I missing something? Okay, it's on the DK's backpack. There we go.
So,
It is.
how do you pull this
RNG.
back?
For Newbee?
Yeah, it's only 4,000.
Yeah, it comes down to keeping this Lina alive. All these fights they're losing are when Lina gets jumped on. And that's just the issue. I mean, compared to the sniper, if this hero goes down or gets jumped on to start a fight, you're probably losing that fight. They don't have any save. If they had like a hero that could save, you know, like the kind of OD Astral, Shadow Demon Disruptions, Oracles, not really a Dazzle, because Grave doesn't really save you, but if they had some way to protect the Lina, it'd be a very different story. The problem is, all they've got, we saw last team fight, is a 4-staff. That 4-staff is not saving SCCC when he's getting blink stunned by a DK. They're just going to keep running him down, keep bursting him. And by the time, maybe SCCC survives the initial stun, but he's on like 400 or 500 health, so we're seeing that he has to use his BKB defensively to try run away, and in the last fight, he popped his BKB, then still instantly died, so his deaths have been very costly for the team, even though, as I said, they haven't been that plentiful.
Earth Spirit goes into a Midas.
Setsu's smoked up. He wants to get a blink stun onto SCCC here, and he's got it.
He's got the 4-staff away to try and get him out to an escape with the Chaotic Offering hitting on a 4 of these heroes, but it's not going to keep SCCC alive. The BKB is going to be popped by Owen as he goes to the backlines for the Supernova, but Afu, he dies on RNG. Can they turn this around? The Supernova is going to pop this against a stun on both Mugi as well as Owen. Now it's Wexy dead as well as the Night Stalker. They look over at Mugi as he's going to pop the BKB as well. But it's
like his Warlock Golem's just sitting there AFK. I think things are a little bit out of sync with the Newbee team right now. Faith not even microing his Warlock Golem while he's just sitting in the fountain. And RNG are going to get multiple lanes of racks. It's pretty much GG at this point. It's such a simple execution from RNG. Their team fight is just blink stun Lina, kill Lina, win fight. That's all they have to do. Warlock drops a rock as a counter initiation, but it doesn't matter. there's just too much burst damage from RNG. The Lena's already half health by the time that rock comes out, and RNG are too like spread out that the rock isn't even hitting everyone. It's not just 2 lanes, it's going to be full mega creeps it looks like, and as said, this is pretty much GG at this point.
Blink, hoof stomp, that comes out onto Faith. The missile blade through, but is it going to be enough? Wexy, he rolls in, they lose Faith, and well, they lose all the racks.
Yeah. Newbee's always been a team that will play it out to the end with their 5-man droughts, but you're down mega creeps, and I do not see they don't have that, you know, Luna or Spectre type late game carry that can deal with megas. They have a nurse.
Yeah, he's going to be hexed up, hit with the hoof stomp that comes through from the Centaur, and Moogie's going to be cleaned up. He doesn't have buyback. He's dead for 80 seconds. The rolling border away for Waxy, but the BKB is going to be popped by SCCC. Kicking Setsu away from him, but it's not going to save his life. The stun comes out on 2. GG's going to be called, but Serpent Wards are placed inside the base. The Ghouls to stay alive. And so it will be the first game going in favor of RNG as they come back from an early deficit.
Yeah, they played this very solidly, and they end the game even on kills, 25 apiece. But that's kind of testament to the early game and how just composed they were holding on. You know, they were down 10 kills to 1 at one point. It was never a crazy big gold lead for Newbee, and I think RNG knew their draft. They just got to hold on. They have this Centaur plus DK frontlining for a troll, and these heroes at some point are just going to be too tanky, too hard to deal with. Mugi ends the game 8-2-7, but he's an Ursa. He just doesn't scale and match up in the late game as well as the rest of the RNG heroes. Like Lanham's Phoenix does almost 18,000 hero damage this game. Like you can't really deal with that. And I talked about at the start, like, you know, how do Newbee win this game when they just don't have maybe enough damage? It is everybody has to do damage. You need damage from your Warlock, your Earth Spirit, your Night Stalker. Wakesy does like 10k-ish damage. That's just not enough this game. There was a lot of fights where he wasn't getting magnetized off, partly because of the BKBs, but everybody needs to be having a crazy good game here for Newbee, and it's just so much harder for them to win this game, whereas RNG, the execution for them, so much simpler.
Yeah, it was an early deficit, like I said, but they come and bring it back. When your Phoenix has more hero damage than the Ursa, I mean, that kind of tells the tale as well. Everybody from RNG doing so much, and you know, Faith had that Midas at 15 minutes. I mean, all he got out of that was a 4-staff. It seemed like after he had that good start, that was it. And the Golems, as much as they were impacting 3-4 heroes, then what? What were they really doing? You know, there wasn't much afterwards, it seemed like. And you know, they gave so many opportunities for Lanham to get the Supernova off in full. I think they only popped it once. RNG, I mean, pulling back from an early deficit, bringing it in for game 1, and that'll be their victory, and we'll see if Newbee will be able to pull it to 1 apiece, or if it's going to be a 2-0 quick one for RNG. So we'll be back in just a moment. Stay right there. Grab yourself food, grab yourself a drink, and stay tuned as Game 2 is coming up next.